Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Miracle, and today we will be looking at what are IDOs, right? So guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and just tell your friends about this platform. Okay, so let's dive in. What are IDOs? So guys, we'll be using this article to explain what ICOs are, what IDOs are, and what IEOs are. So today many persons will be hearing of IDOs and all that good stuff, so you would want to know what an IDO is. So basically I'm just going to define what an IDO is, what an IEO is, and then what are other forms of fundraising that we have had in the past. So let's start with ICOs. 2017 ICOs were very popular. So ICOs stand for initial coin offering. Okay, so after 2017 we come down to 2018, then we had IEOs, right? IEOs became very popular, and IEOs are known as initial exchange offering. So then now we have IDOs, initial DEX offering. Now DEX stands for decentralized exchange. So guys, let's I'm just going to use this article to try to get you guys to understand what these various fundraising models are. So basically, initial DEX offering, or IDO, is a new fundraising model that offers better liquidity of crypto assets, faster, open, and fair trading. IDO model is the successor of fundraising models such as ICO, STO, and IEO. So that is it. Then before we learn about initial DEX offering, let's brush up on our knowledge on the fundraising concepts via token sales. Now, back then, if someone wanted to fund a project in 2017, they gave out their token in a form of ICO, right? So they create a platform, a website, so you kind of donate your money, your major currencies, right, like Ethereum or Bitcoin or Litecoin. So they take those your coins and then they give you tokens, right? That is what ICOs were all about then. They take those your coins, they give you tokens that you would hold on to before they build their own blockchain, or before, sometimes they don't even give you anything. You just you wait till maybe when their site is up, their proper site is up. Now they then issue you tokens on Ethereum or other platforms. So yeah, that's what basically ICOs were for back in the day, right? So here, if we read this, is if a company wants to raise funds to build in a new products or expand its businesses, it has multiple options. The traditional option is to go for financial loans or investment from banks and VCs, right? So however, since the success of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, more companies have used it as an instrument for raising funds via token sales, right? So basically, the project on their website, they decide that, oh, my project XYZ is going to start as the price of maybe 2 cents, right? So you can buy as much as possible with your Ethereum. So you give me your major cryptocurrencies while I give you my token. That was what ICOs was all about, and it is done on the website of the issuer, the website of the people that are running the project. That's why there were so many scams back then in 2017, because I could build a site and then tell you send your funds via this wallet address, right? So the matter of I maybe on the front end I have like a calculation. So if you send 1 Bitcoin, you're going to get 3,000 of these tokens. So then if you say you're sending 1 Bitcoin, it gives you an address, send it, and then once it's done, you get that number of tokens on your website, right? So there were a lot of scams in 2017 with this method of fundraising. So yeah, so it is said here the company would create crypto tokens and issue them to the general public in exchange for Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other major cryptocurrencies and fiat currencies. This process is called fundraising via token issuance. there are different methods to do token sales, namely initial coin offerings or ICOs, security token offering or STOs, initial exchange offering or IEOs, and the latest method, initial DEX offering or IDO. So let's just go into what an IDO is. So what is an initial DEX offering, right? So like I said, remember we had like an ICO where a project can build a website, right, and then tell you we are going to give you our tokens, right? But then you have to buy our tokens. Is cheap. When you pay for it on our website, we give you the equivalent amount in dollars on our tokens, right? So the website itself is logging all the transactions that has happened. So they know all the transactions that are happened, and they are giving equivalent token to each person's, right? So just bear that in mind. Now, an IDO is a fundraising method in which the token is issued via a decentralized liquidity exchange, right? So now, before an IDO, we had an ICO, and then we had an IEO. So now, what is an IEO? Initial exchange offering. So when the scams started in 2017, that anybody can build a site and claim to have a token, and then when you send monies to those addresses, wallet addresses, the site can shut down, and then they go away with your money. Sometime in 2018, 2019, came the IEO, the initial exchange offering, where if you wanted to give out tokens to people, you needed to consult an exchange. That is a way to prove that you're not a scam. That is a way to bring back confidence in people participating in early token buyings, because if you bought a token or a coin early, you are sure of making a huge return because you bought it when the project hasn't even launched, right? So project founders needed a way to convince people that they are legit, that they will do what they say they would do. So for that to be possible, they had to go to an exchange. Binance did a lot of initial exchange offering. So they go to an exchange like Binance, and they talk with Binance, and then they agree on a fee, they agree on the amount they are going to list their token, and then Binance takes care of every other thing. So Binance is the one who is conducting the coin offering. So Binance takes care of all the transactions and how many tokens is allocated to the user as per how much they have paid for each token. So now there were a lot of IEOs on Binance back then, okay, because an IEO makes it possible too that once your token is sold on that IEO platform, automatically it is listed on that exchange. So there is volume too, but then it has its own downsides, the IEO. Now let's come back to an IDO. Now an IDO replaced an IEO. Now an IDO is essentially a modified IEO. Yeah, let me take that again. An IDO is more like a modified IEO. Now an IDO is initial DEX offering. Now let's go back to an exchange. An exchange is where you can buy and sell a coin, right? So we have centralized exchanges and we have decentralized exchanges. Binance is a centralized exchange. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. If you do a coin offering on Binance, it will be called an IEO, right? An initial exchange offering. But if you do a coin offering on Uniswap, it is going to be called an IDO, right? Initial DEX offering. So that is just the difference between an IEO and an IDO, right? So let's just go on here. A decentralized liquidity exchange is a type of crypto asset exchange that relies on liquidity pools with which traders can swap tokens. So let's just go down. Let's just look at the difference between an IEO and ICO, and then all that good stuff. So here, difference between an IDO, an IEO, an ICO, STO. So what makes it different from earlier fundraising method in the crypto space? A in ICO's case, which is the same as an initial public offering process, which is an IPO, right? So the issuers manage all the responsibilities. Like I told you before, the website that you go to that is telling you to buy their coin on their website, right, is an ICO. They manage all the responsibility. They manage the responsibility of recording all the transaction that was made on the site. They manage the responsibility of issuing out all the tokens, correctly to the users. They manage all that stuff, right? But then in contrast, in IEO, it is done by a centralized exchange host. So if I decide to go and do my coin offering with Binance, right, and IEO, Binance takes care of all the transactions, right, and then takes care of issuing out all the tokens. So all I have to do is to tell Binance, see, I want to sell 10 million of my tokens, right, at this price. So I push that 10 million to Binance. They call it, I think, the Binance launch pad. So I push all that tokens to Binance and then relax. So Binance takes care of the transaction. At the end of the day, Binance can come out and say, after after the initial exchange offering, we sold only 9 million of your tokens, right? And then they can show you the transaction history and all that good stuff. That is basically the difference between an ICO and an IEO, right? So let's go on. When we compare IDO with the other two approaches, we can see that it is basically a combination of both ICO and IEO. Now, an IDO, right, is more like comprising between an ICO and an IEO, right? That is what an IDO is. So how is it possible that an IDO is like combination of two of them? Now, an IDO is initial DEX offering, right? It is on an exchange, but a decentralized exchange. So it's more like an IEO. You understand? But then it is also like an ICO, which is all the login, all the transactions are done on that exchange, right? An IDO takes care of all the transactions, right? You don't need an external person to do it. You're actually the person who is doing it, because all you have to do is push all your coin to the decentralized platform. For example, if I wanted to do an IDO, all Sasomis would do is get the token, provide liquidity with the token on Uniswap, and then tell people to go to Uniswap and buy it. That is an IDO, right? So let's go on. So the only difference is that IDO replaces the centralized exchange with a decentralized one, right? In this case of security token offering, the investment contracted is backed by the security token. STOs deals with assets that offer monetary profit, plus STOs comply with government regulations, whereas the latter regulations are yet to be framed. So this is talking about STOs, which is security token offerings. So STOs are totally different, right? Because STOs are more like investments. They are more like in tokens, and when you have, then you get paid a certain amount of money, maybe at the end of the month or at the end of the year or something like that. So, but then it has to be backed by government reward assets and all that stuff. So there are tokens that when you have that token, it is backed by maybe a real estate firm, that's actually trading with your money and then paying you an interest. But then for you to actually run an STO, right, you have to comply with government regulations. So we're not really going into STOs. We're just trying to look at IDOs, IEOs, and ICOs. No, so for you to actually have an understanding of what they have. So now the first IDO, that was the first people that even coined this word IDO, was Binance DEX, right? It was Binance DEX that coined this IDO thing, right? So examples of initial DEX offerings, as we already discussed, as a brainchild of Binance, the first IDO was on Raven protocol. The Raven protocol is actually a distributed and deep learning training protocol for providing cost efficient, fast, deep, neutral networks training. It was listed on June 17th 2019 and held for 24 hours. So there have been so many IDOs in the past, and there is so many IDOs now, right? So IDOs are coming up now are slightly different, right, in the sense that most make use of a launchpad. So for example, a launchpad is something like pools.finance, DocDAO, Trust Swap, right? Those are like launch pads. So what they do, they basically try as much as possible to eliminate scams, because even in IDOs, I can create a token and tell you to go buy those tokens, and then once those tokens are bought, I remove liquidity and then disappear with your money. But then launch pads makes it possible that before they would tell people to go buy a certain token, right, they have vetted the teams. They have checked out the teams, they've checked out their products, probably audited their contracts and all that stuff, right? So examples of such launch pads are Polka Starter, Trust Swap, Pools.finance, DocDAO, and there are so many of them that are coming up that are actually nice. So basically what you should take away from this whole thing is ICOs, IEOs, and currently IDOs are a way to raise funds for projects, right? They are models of fundraising. So if you want to raise funds for your business, if you want to raise funds for your project, you are more likely to be involved in to do an IDO, right? But these days we've seen that VCs, venture capitalists, and angel investors, most of the times they come into these things, and then we'll have what we call pre-sales, right? So if I want to sell my tokens, I might have pre-sales where I have maybe family and friends or some VCs come in and then buy some of my token, and then if I want my token to go to a larger audience, right, I will now do an initial DEX offering where I list my tokens on Uniswap, and then people rush to go buy those tokens on Uniswap, and then as they are buying those tokens on Uniswap, the price of the token goes up. So now one of the major differences between an IEO and then an IDO is that you don't need to pay huge amounts of money to an exchange for them to be able to list your tokens. You don't have restrictions, right? For example, during the days of IEOs, for Binance to do an IEO for you, you would have to pay Binance a huge amount of money, because then they are going to also list your tokens too, right? And also they might come with some restrictions that if Binance is doing your IEO for you, you would not have to list your token in other exchange. So there are restrictions too. And then, for example, some IEOs will tell you if you're from a certain country, you cannot participate in that IEO, right? But then when it comes to decentralized, exchange, there are no restrictions. Anybody can participate in the IDO, from any country. You don't need to pay huge amounts of fees for you to be able to list your coins on a decentralized exchange and all that good stuff. So I hope that with this small explanation, I was able to explain to you what an IDO is, what an ICO is, and what an IEO is. So guys, if you have any question, just call me up, let me know, and you can drop your questions in the group and we'll answer you. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe.